You know very well creators that become businesses, but do you know businesses that become creators? In this video, I'm going to tell you why it's extremely beneficial to become a creator as a business. And it's not just about getting more customers. You wouldn't guess some of the benefits I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to show you 11 examples of successful businesses across different industries who embraced content creation and saw tangible benefits. Steve Hamilton selling tires and wheels. Doesn't sound like a business that will be that hot on social media, right? Steve owns Hamilton Collection. You might have seen his $30 million roster of hypercars. He shares them with the community, and he's a very charitable person with a great mission. He started his business in 2003, and only 16 years later has he started the YouTube channel. He was already making hundreds of millions of dollars before trying to get famous. So why do that? Watch this clip.
This is a good loudspeaker for advertising for our channel. The hidden element was getting connected with influencers. Our team couldn't do it before. And it's because you're emailing from a business that clearly has an agenda. Some people want to earn money and do ads, but it's easier for me to get my foot in the door with people. Whistle and Diesel has been a really great guy that we have a good relationship with. And it's, hey, if you're ever in town, just come drive one of my super hypercars. Just let me know. And then if they come in and they want to shoot content, all the better. And then if we happen to be going to Tennessee by where he lives or passing through, it's, hey, can we just stop by your compound? Okay, are you cool if we shoot a vlog? We foster these relationships, but then I'm like, okay, this guy's in the automotive sector and he would be a great partner for Fitment Industries and Custom Offsets. And I've fostered a bunch of those connections at this point. My team gave me a list of people that they couldn't get in contact with. And I think 7 out of 10 of them we had dialogue with and were able to get some capacity of an ad done with this team that they just were not able to get connections with before.
So as you can see, while yes, it brings more customers, the other benefit that you wouldn't think about is that it enables you to work with other creators more easily. It's because creators are inundated with paid partnership opportunities from brands. And brands are just like corporates with logos. Whereas they're more interested in working with another person. Your content gets more interesting and creators want more content opportunities. That's their bread and butter. That's what they need to create. And if you are a creator collaborating with another creator, you can still plug your products, but it feels different. It's not an ad read. It's not a forced script that somebody is reading to camera. No, they are talking to you as another person. Yep, I know. It's hard to imagine creating crazy amounts of interesting content while being an accountant. Not for Jasmine DeLucchi.
So the next time this guy recommends tax evasion, you shouldn't document it on social media.
She managed to create a format that people fell in love with. And she only started posting maybe a year ago, and now she's on her way to 1 million subscribers. How? She is a qualified tax attorney. And instead of just giving a dry advice, she discovered that a lot of social media celebrities and influencers post dubious tax advice. They would say to you,
it's only one car you buy and the rest you lease. 150,000, Range Rover, it weighs 6,000 pounds. Section 179 IRS says anything over 6,000 pounds you can write off 100%.
She takes those famous people with recognizable faces and she reacts to their content while giving you the truth.
Section 179 does not say anything over 6,000 pounds can be written off 100%. It says you're capped with a $30,500 deduction unless your car's over 14,000 pounds or meets other requirements that don't apply to a Range Rover. So your deduction is exactly $0. And for actual tax law from a tax attorney, subscribe.
This is a very clever social hack to utilize other people's channels to build your own.
That is not how it works. And for actual tax law from a tax attorney, subscribe.
And for more accurate tax advice from a tax attorney, subscribe.
It's an extremely informative, valuable, yet entertaining way to deliver dry content. George Saliba selling used cars. Wow, I know, another sexy topic. George runs family business selling used cars in New Jersey. It doesn't sound that exciting, but they discovered a formula that people love. Now his channel is verging on 500,000 subscribers, and it's because of a perfect blend of factors that make for interesting YouTube videos. The content follows George as he goes about his day, negotiating deals, buying and selling supercars. They show a lot of raw and unfiltered negotiations that you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
What do you think if we can meet at 287.5?
How much?
287.5.
How about we just be fair to each other, we do it at 292.5.
People want to know who are the people buying a 200, 300, 500k car. But most importantly is the negotiations. There's something at stake. They want to buy, they want to sell, they cannot agree on the number. You never know, is this person going to actually go through and at what number, who is going to get the better side of the deal. So he's doing his daily job that he would have done anyway, but it's documented, and he can put out a 25-minute video basically daily where he has multiple storylines, multiple negotiations, and the cars are getting more and more interesting. It's a perfect content engine that drives people, pun intended, to his dealership. Before YouTube, they had been just another dealership down the road. Whereas now, people want to go there because they might negotiate with George, they might negotiate with his brother. People want to meet him, people want to show him their cars, people want to sell their unique cars that they have, people want to buy from George because they believe that he knows what he's talking about. They believe he's not going to rip them off.
Can't believe what the hell just happened to me in my business.
We purchased a truck, and obviously it hasn't arrived for one reason or another.
Did you pay him?
And we haven't paid yet.
Okay, don't pay him.
They show drama, they show people trying to sell them stolen or illegally acquired cars. They show you how to evaluate whether the car is good value, but also now they're getting celebrities to come in and to get the unique cars that they might be stocking. This is opening up opportunities that they haven't had before. It's beneficial to list your supercar with them because it's going to get more eyeballs than anywhere else. It becomes a special car sold by George Saliba. Okay, enough with boring industries. Let's find something sexy. Law. Legal Ego, a practicing lawyer who started his YouTube channel to react to media depictions of his industry. Following the success of Dr. Mike reacting to Grey's Anatomy and Dr. House, he reacted to Suits. He called out the improbable situations that you would encounter in the show and how you would actually do this in real life. But it gets better. People love drama. From corporate lawsuits through Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, to the current sitting president, he is going to have infinite inflow of content. So had he been just another expert lawyer, they might have brought him in on CNN or Fox News every now and then, but with his own channel, he can comment on every single high-profile case to his 3.5 million followers. It's a perfect combo that raises his profile, he does collaborations with other creators getting their audience in, and he himself can now become an authority in his niche. Quick disclaimer, I'm not endorsing or associated with any of the creators here. I don't judge, I just learn the best tactics that got them where they are. We're not here to take them as a whole, we're here to pick up the bits and pieces that made them successful and try to apply them to our own brand in a morally sound way. With that in mind, let's continue the video. All In podcast. A bunch of billionaires that gathered together during that time where we all had to stay indoors, and they just started shooting the shit, talking about the things that they found interesting, which just happened to be interesting to a lot of other people. These were highly accomplished, rich people from Silicon Valley who knew how to analyze the stocks, the current trends, the exploding industries, and then they ventured into politics. So while yes, it did help their respective businesses, the main benefit was the growth in power and influence. They got in bed with the current administration, and one of them is currently based in the White House, advising the president on AI and cryptocurrency. These are the doors that you didn't even know existed for creators. Imagine being a tech founder in AI or crypto and being friends with a guy who advises on the policy. How much is that worth to you? This one is a bit controversial, but Grant Cardone knows how to build an audience. It's incredible. He started early and he started strong. He is producing so much content that there is no way that you haven't seen him at least once in your life on social media.
You got $1 million, you're basically just a freaking deadbeat.
And that's his game. Prior to his YouTube fame, he was in real estate. He realized that YouTube and social media is the most efficient way to convince thousands or tens of thousands of people to put their money into his fund.
Attention needs to be on this. This is the target. It's not the watch, it's not the car, and it's not the vacation. It's freedom.
With this money, he could make real estate investments and make money for everyone. Whether that's true or not, it worked. There are multiple ways to win on social media. It can be quality, quantity, you can provide super short creative videos like on Vine, 6 seconds, or you can create extremely long making 6-hour tutorials. Grant Cardone chose to post 200 to 300 times a week across all social media. He's a salesman. He understands it's a numbers game. It's tens of thousands of posts everywhere. And some of them are gonna fail, but every now and then he's going to strike gold. Let's talk about Alex Hormozi. He sold multiple businesses and one of them for $46 million, which gave him immense credibility. However, he realized that to get to that billionaire status, he needs to pull different levers. He looked at Kylie Jenner becoming a billionaire, he looked at The Rock, and he realized that you really need a personal brand to get to that 3 commas club. So he created Acquisition.com, where he would invest in businesses. Now he needed a funnel of businesses that would be interested in taking money from him, businesses that needed a little bit of help. So he created a YouTube channel and started giving away all of his business learnings. So the business owners that applied his learnings in their businesses and saw results would come to Acquisition.com and see if Alex would invest. Because why wouldn't you want him investing plus helping you grow your business? You've already seen results. He loves those hacks and a meta approach. When he wrote his first book, $100 Million Offers, it was based on an idea to create an offer so good that people would feel stupid saying no. He put this value-filled book on Amazon for 99 cents. It in itself became an offer too good to say no to. When he was launching the second book, $100 Million Leads, he applied the techniques described in his own book to generate 500,000 new leads and get them all to come to the virtual event. This meta approach is what I am applying right here on this channel. I'm sharing everything with you as we go along. Speaking of oversharing, Gary V, the legend of social media marketing. But before his current fame, in his late 20s and early 30s, he was working for his dad's wine store. Then, he decided to start a YouTube channel called Wine Library, where he would just turn on the camera and talk to you about a random bottle of wine that he found interesting. Suddenly, the business skyrocketed, and he realized this is gold. What do you do in a gold rush? You sell shovels. So he became a marketer. He showed people how to replicate his success. He was selling tools to replicate what he had done for Wine Library. And suddenly, he became one of the largest agencies in the world, with hundreds of millions of dollars. He wouldn't have gotten there by having one wine store in New Jersey. Because even if you have your small successful business, that doesn't open many doors. Let me give you an example of my first million. This podcast was started by 2 guys who sold their businesses for $20, $30 million. Great outcome, right? After they started the podcast and they started talking about ideas for a business in general, entrepreneurship, telling those amazing stories, suddenly they started to create more connections with ultra high net worth individuals. People they wouldn't have given them a time of day prior. Now they started the MFM Camp, which is a retreat, a getaway, where some of the guests include Mr. Beast and multitude of billionaires. How would they have ever gotten in the room with these people if it wasn't for the podcast and notoriety they got? This is something that enables them to now invest in companies that were previously unavailable. They can talk to the most successful people and learn from them. And speaking of a podcast, let's talk about 20 VC with Harry Stebbings. This guy started in his late teens, and he wanted to just interview people in the venture capital space. Obviously, without connections, it's pretty hard to start, but he managed to get one relatively unknown person on his first episode. And then the social hacking began. He asked for a referral, and that took him step by step, referral after referral. He would get more and more and more important and accomplished guests. Suddenly, he became so well-known and well-networked in the industry that he himself raised a $400 million VC fund. And now, he's a venture capitalist himself. Our final example is a two-parter. He was a real estate agent who needed to hack the system. If you look at that industry, it's based on credibility and track record. Nobody's going to give a $20 to $50 million mansion to somebody with no track record to sell. However, Enes took his friend Mikey to open house events and they started creating those property tours. Those tours were so detailed and enthusiastic and beautifully filmed that suddenly they exploded on YouTube. The dynamic flipped.
This is the biggest and the most expensive home currently on the market in the United States with an asking price of $295 million.
Suddenly, it wasn't Enes asking everyone and anyone to maybe sell their house. Now other agents come to him and pay him to film tours of the properties. Other brands like Rolls-Royce, BMW, Aston Martin, they want to put their cars inside of his luxury videos. This overshadowed his real estate career, so he gave up his license and now is making content full-time with a big team and amazing properties all around the world. However, there's one person who capitalized on this situation even more: Arvin Haddad. He's an extremely knowledgeable real estate agent who sits in his room with the microphone and he turns on Enes Yilmazer's videos and critiques them. Because Enes has to present every property in the most positive possible light. Arvin is not limited by this. He can see the property tour and tell you, actually, the lot is pretty bad. The layout of this house doesn't make sense.
Draws your attention to the entry. In fact, if you look at this house from a bird's eye view, you'll realize that it's shaped like a V.
I would say it's more like a slice of pizza. In Los Angeles, is it like pizza-shaped slice homes are like trending right now? No. This is not happening. You're forced by the shape of the lot. This is a horrible, horrible lot. But Arvin, you said this area is banging. Yes. The area is banging, but this lot is not banging in the right places.
He establishes himself as an expert by calling out the flaws in something that's presented to you as perfect. 120,000 subscribers, he has become a go-to guy to actually see whether a property is worth buying, because he's going to tell you the truth.
Use to build their house over here. And that's why I do consulting, because you should always first buy the land, then the house, then the finishes.
Other content creators have to spend thousands of dollars on producing these tours. He's the one benefiting from them the most. I hope this whistle-stop tour across different industries and formats gave you some ideas. Now you can think about how would you convert your existing business into interesting content, and what benefits could you get from that? Is it connections, influence, power, or just more customers? There's really very little downside to becoming a content creator. However, there is a dark side to it. If you become even remotely famous, your lifestyle might become more cumbersome. From people recognizing you on the street to way more scrutiny being paid to your business. How am I going to apply these learnings? Well, first, this is the channel. You can already see this meta proof of me trying to implement all these lessons. Then for short form content, I'm going to take the idea of reactions and stitches very seriously. As usual, give me any feedback, it's under the like button, and see you in the next one.